The quiet power you forgot. You had what if the key to a calmer, more fulfilling life wasn't about controlling everything around you, but simply learning how to respond. We live in an age of noise. Notifications, demands, deadlines, opinions, each one screaming for your reaction. But the more you chase control, the more it slips through your fingers. And somewhere in the chaos, you forget the one place where control never left, your own mind. You can't silence the world, but you can silence how the world enters you. This isn't a fantasy. It's a forgotten discipline, Stoicism, practiced not in temples, but in the battlefield of life. It was born in ancient marketplaces and sharpened on the edges of exile, betrayal, and death. Yet somehow, its teachings speak louder today than ever before. Because what modern man suffers is not just overwhelm, it's overreaction. You've been taught that success comes from domination, but the Stoics taught something different, that power lies not in what you can command, but in what you can endure with grace. This video is not just about Stoicism, it's about reclaiming your inner citadel, the one fortress no one can invade. If you feel like the world is pushing you past your breaking point, if you're tired of being tossed around by every emotion, every insult, every expectation, then stay. The Stoics are waiting. The illusion of control. What's truly ours? We've all felt it, that creeping sense of helplessness. You check the news and see conflict, collapse, and chaos. You step into traffic and someone cuts you off. You try to explain yourself, but they hear what they want. You plan your future, and life laughs. And yet, you still try to control it all, as if by sheer force of will, you could bend the world into harmony. But here's the quiet truth the Stoics discovered long ago. Most of what disturbs us isn't the world itself. It's our refusal to accept that we can't control it. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. Epictetus. This is the dichotomy of control, the cornerstone of Stoic thought. And it's so simple, it's often ignored. You control your thoughts, your actions, your choices. You don't control events, outcomes, other people, or even your body beyond a certain point. But here's the paradox. The more you try to control the uncontrollable, the more controlled you become by fear, anxiety, and disappointment. You lose sleep over their opinions. You replay arguments in your mind like you could edit the past. You curse the weather, the economy, your genetics, as if rage could rearrange reality. This is where suffering breeds, not in the event itself, but in the belief that it should have gone differently. But when you begin to accept what you cannot change, a strange peace enters. Not passivity, not giving up, but the clarity to redirect your energy where it actually matters. A Stoic is not an emotionless statue. He feels deeply, but responds wisely. He doesn't escape the world's storms. He simply builds a foundation that doesn't shake. And in that moment, you begin to transform. Not by mastering the world, but by mastering the one thing the world can't touch, your response. The storm is coming. Build your inner citadel. You can't predict the storm, but you can prepare for it. Every day you wake up and step into a world you don't control. The economy shifts, relationships strain, people betray you, you get sick, you fail, you lose. But the question isn't, will the storm come? It's, who will I become when it does? The Stoics had an answer. They called it the Inner Citadel, an unshakable fortress of character, built not with walls of stone, but with tools of the mind. It starts with Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of adversity. Each morning you imagine what could go wrong, the loss of wealth, of status, of life itself. Not to become paranoid, but to become prepared. As Seneca wrote, he robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand. Then comes Amor Fati, the love of fate. Not passive acceptance, but active embrace. Everything that happens, even your pain, is a thread in the masterpiece of your becoming. You stop asking, why me? and start declaring, "Let this shape me." And finally, negative visualization. You picture losing what you cherish most, your partner, your freedom, your breath. And in that loss, you awaken gratitude. Suddenly, every ordinary moment becomes sacred, because it might not return. This is not spiritual bypassing. This is spiritual armoring, because the world will try to pull you outward, to noise, to panic, to distraction. But your strength will depend on how deeply you've built inward. The inner citadel is not made in peace. It's carved in resistance. And one day, when the storm comes, the man beside you will collapse, but you will stand still because you didn't wait for calm. You trained in the wind. The final battle: respond, don't react. You lose your power the moment you react. Anger, blame, despair, all of them are chains. But the Stoic, he pauses. In that sacred space between stimulus and response, he chooses. He doesn't scream at traffic. He doesn't spiral after rejection. He doesn't crumble when the world fails to meet his expectations. He simply responds in with wisdom. This is the pause, a split second where freedom lives. It's followed by cognitive reframing. He doesn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" He asks, "What is this teaching for me?" His setback becomes his practice ground. His heartbreak becomes his initiation. And every insult becomes a test. Can I keep my dignity even now? That's the sage's mindset, the highest Stoic aim. Not to be untouchable, but to be unshaken. And through this daily discipline, the Stoic begins to live differently. He no longer chases dopamine or applause. He aligns with virtue, honesty, courage, justice, wisdom. These are his compass, not profit, not pleasure, not popularity. And slowly, something rare appears: tranquility. Not the fake peace of having no problems, but the enduring peace of knowing he's become the kind of man who can face them. And when you begin to live like this, service becomes natural, not because it's good, but because helping others is now the same thing as helping yourself. You are no longer a slave to impulse. You are no longer just reacting. You are responding, you are creating, you are becoming, and the man who becomes this is untouchable. The quiet triumph, and the choice that's always yours. So now you know, the power you've been seeking doesn't come from controlling outcomes, bending others, or escaping uncertainty. It comes from standing firm in the eye of life's storms without flinching. It's the inner citadel you've quietly built while the world shouted over you. Every pause you take before reacting, every moment you choose virtue over impulse, every time you say yes to fate instead of fighting it, you are not just surviving, you are becoming invincible. Because peace is not found in the world behaving as you wish. Peace is found when you no longer need it to. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." You've felt the friction, now use it. Build your day around these ideas. Reflect, pause, reframe. Live with virtue, serve others, practice daily. And one day you'll look around at the chaos and simply smile, because you've already won. Welcome to the Brotherhood of the Calm. Your real journey begins here. If this spoke to you, subscribe, reflect, and return. There's more to uncover.